My name is Allison, and today I turned 28. Birthdays are supposed to feel special, at the very least. A simple, happy birthday from your family can make you feel seen. I woke up hoping, against all logic, that I'd get a text, maybe a call, something to remind me I wasn't invisible. Instead, what I found made me wish I hadn't checked my phone at all. As soon as I opened Facebook, I froze. There they were, photos of my entire family crowded around a cake, laughing and hugging as if they didn't have a care in the world. Streamers hung from the ceiling, balloons in gold and pink filled the background, and right in the center was my younger sister, Belle, glowing with joy. The caption cut deeper than any knife, the only one who deserves celebrating. My chest tightened, and for a second I thought I might throw up. It wasn't just that they'd thrown her a surprise party without me, it was the blatant message, they didn't even pretend I mattered. I swallowed the lump in my throat and typed out a quick, biting comment, "Nice cake." Within minutes, my mom responded, "At least someone is worth baking for." My fingers trembled, but I forced myself to smile as I typed back, "Enjoy it while you can." They had no idea what that meant, but I did. Before I continue my story, let me know where you're watching from. Hit that like and subscribe button if you've ever felt invisible in your own family. Trust me, what happened next will show you exactly how to take back your power. The Facebook incident might sound shocking to you, but to me, it was just another chapter in the same book I'd been reading my whole life. In our family, the roles were assigned early on. I was the responsible one, and Belle was the golden child. 3 years younger than me, Belle somehow managed to be treated like a princess for the bare minimum. She could so much as finish her homework on time, and it was a celebration. Meanwhile, I could bring home straight A's, trophies, or awards, and it was met with a polite nod, maybe a "good job, Allison," before attention swung right back to Belle. I'll never forget my 10th birthday. I wasn't asking for much, just a backyard party with pizza, balloons, and a few friends from school. For weeks, I'd been so excited, counting down the days and even helping Mom pick out paper plates and decorations. But the night before, Belle announced she wanted to join a local dance class. Suddenly, all the money Mom had set aside for my birthday was redirected to Belle's registration fee. "We can celebrate next weekend," Mom promised, brushing off my disappointment. That next weekend never came. My birthday faded into the background, just another day in the shadow of Belle's wants. Things only got worse after the divorce. I was 12, Belle was 9. The separation tore through our family like a storm, leaving pieces scattered everywhere. Dad moved across town, and his weekend visits quickly shrank to once a month, then only holidays. Mom was left behind, drowning in sadness and exhaustion, and while she fell apart, I stepped up. I became the one cooking dinner, packing school lunches, even leaving the bills in neat piles on the counter so Mom wouldn't forget to pay them. Belle, on the other hand, went the opposite route. She rebelled, she skipped school, slammed doors, threw tantrums, and screamed that somehow the divorce was my fault. But instead of disciplining her, Mom would hold her, stroke her hair, and shower her with gifts to ease her pain. "Your sister is sensitive," Mom would say when I dared question why Belle was excused from responsibility. Then she'd look at me and add, "You are strong, Allison, you can handle things." It wasn't comfort, it was a sentence, a way of telling me that my needs, my pain, didn't matter. I was expected to carry it all in silence. By the time I was 16, I was juggling more than any teenager should have to. I maintained a 4.0 GPA, captained the debate team, and worked weekends at a grocery store to save money for college. My life was a constant balancing act, but I did it because I knew I couldn't rely on anyone else. When I was inducted into the National Honor Society, it was supposed to be one of the proudest nights of my life. I stood on stage in my best dress, surrounded by parents cheering for their children, flashing cameras capturing every smile. But in the row of folding chairs reserved for families, mine sat empty. Where were they? At Belle's junior high soccer game, she had scored 1 goal in a match they still lost, and they couldn't bear to miss it. That night, when they came home laughing, they carried ice cream and balloons for Belle. I called Dad to tell him what happened, my voice breaking as I tried to explain. "We are so proud of you too, Allison," he said gently, but then his tone shifted, almost as if rehearsed. "You know your sister needs the encouragement more than you do." And just like that, my achievement was brushed aside, another invisible victory in a lifetime of being overlooked. The surprise party wasn't just another oversight, it was the most recent, and perhaps the cruelest, example of a lifelong pattern. The pictures, the captions, my mother's words, they weren't just careless, they were deliberate. It was as if they wanted me to see it, wanted me to feel excluded. For a long time, I'd learned to swallow the bitterness, to take a deep breath and remind myself that things would be different someday. But sitting there in front of my laptop, staring at their smiling faces, something inside me snapped. And in that snap, a strange clarity arrived. I took a slow, deliberate breath and made 3 decisions that I knew would alter the course of my life. The first decision came almost instinctively. I opened my banking app, my heart pounding as my fingers navigated through the settings I knew too well. For 2 years, I had been quietly transferring $850 every month to Belle's landlord, keeping a roof over her head while she claimed she was between jobs. Every time I asked if she had made progress, she gave me excuses: bad bosses, bad luck, the economy, her health, and every time, my mother's voice would chime in: she's fragile, Allison. You know she needs more help than you. But that night, with their laughter still echoing in my ears through those Facebook photos, I realized something. Belle wasn't fragile, she was comfortable. Comfortable because I had allowed her to be. My thumb hovered over the "cancel transfer" button. For a moment, guilt surged through me, whispering, what if she ends up homeless? What if mom blames you? But then another voice, quieter, steadier, cut through: what if you finally stopped sacrificing yourself? Click. Done. The next payment would have processed in 5 days. Now, it never would. The second decision required more resolve. I opened my email and drafted a message to Mr. Patterson, Belle's landlord. Dear Mr. Patterson, I am writing to inform you that I will no longer be making payments toward Belle Turner's rent beginning immediately. For the past 2 years, I have been providing financial assistance without her taking steps toward self-sufficiency. This arrangement is now terminated. Please direct all future communications regarding payment to Belle directly. I understand this may cause inconvenience, but I believe it is necessary for all parties involved to move forward appropriately. Sincerely, Allison Turner. My hands trembled as I typed. Every sentence felt like a line drawn in the sand. This wasn't just an email to a landlord, it was me formally severing the invisible chain I'd been dragging for years. I stared at the draft for a long time, my cursor blinking like a heartbeat on the screen. My inner child still wanted to delete it, to avoid the explosion that would surely follow, but my adult self, 28, exhausted, and finally unwilling to be a martyr, took control. I hit send, no hesitation. The third decision was the hardest, because it wasn't just about money, it was about truth. For years, my family had gaslit me into silence, convincing me that I was too sensitive, too dramatic, or too selfish. Whenever I voiced how unequal everything felt. If I sent this next email, I would be stripping away their illusions and holding up a mirror they couldn't ignore. I opened a new document and began compiling everything. Bank statements proving my monthly transfers. Emails Belle had forwarded to me after being fired from her last job. The utility disconnection notice I had quietly paid to restore her power. Screenshots of the Facebook party photos and my mother's cruel comment beneath them. Piece by piece, I built a record, cold, undeniable proof of not only Belle's deception but also my family's betrayal. Then I drafted the message that had been forming in my heart for years. Mom, Dad, and Belle. For years, I have supported this family emotionally and financially without recognition or appreciation. I have remained silent as you celebrated Belle while ignoring my achievements and even my birthdays. I have transferred thousands of dollars to keep Belle housed and comfortable while she lied about her employment status and financial situation. This ends now. I have cancelled all financial support to Belle, effective immediately. I have informed her landlord of this change. The attached documents provide evidence of both my contributions and Belle's misrepresentations. I am stepping back from this dynamic to focus on my own well-being. Please respect this decision. Allison. My finger hovered over the send button, my chest tight, my breath shallow. This would change everything. I could already imagine the fallout, the angry calls, the guilt trips, the endless accusations. You're selfish, Allison. You're cruel. You're jealous of your sister. They would twist the narrative, painting me as the villain because it was easier than facing their own failings. But for the first time in my life, I realized something. I didn't care. Their opinion no longer defined me. I hit send. When the email disappeared from my outbox, I sat in stunned silence, my heart pounding like I had just leapt from a cliff, and in a way, I had, but instead of terror, I felt something else creeping in, a sensation I hadn't known in years: relief. I closed my laptop. I turned off my phone. Whatever storm was brewing on the other side of those screens would not reach me tonight. Tonight, I was untouchable. As I prepared for bed, I expected to feel anxious, maybe even regretful. Instead, I felt light. The weight of obligation, resentment, and silence had lifted, leaving only possibility. For the first time in nearly 3 decades, I could finally breathe. My 28th year would not be like the others. This year would not belong to Belle. It would belong to me.